Binanatan nga ng husto ng dating Agriculture Secretary ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte na si Manny Piñol, si Speaker Martin Romualdez na siyang punot dulo ng lahat ng kaguluhan sa bansa. Anya, nang dahil sa ambisyon ni Tamba na maging Pangulo ng Pilipinas ay ginawa nito ang lahat gamit ang pera ng taong bayan upang pag-awayin ang Marcos at mga Duterte. Una anyang ginawa ni Romualdez ay sinubukan ang charter chains sa pamamagitan ng pirma na gumastos ng bilyon-bilyon upang mabago ang saligang batas nang sa gayon ay maluklok siyang Prime Minister. Subalit, nabigo ang kampo ni Tamba kaya naman gumawa ito ng hakbang upang ma-impeach si Vice President Sara Duterte. Oras na tuluyang matanggal si VP Sara ay si Martin Romualdez anya ang ipapalit bilang Vice President at kalaunan ay sisiguraduhin itong magre-resign si Bongbong Marcos sa kanyang pwesto upang papalit si Tamba bilang Pangulo ng bansa. Si Tamba din ang may pakana sa lahat ng ayuda sa bansa gamit ang bilyon-bilyong pondo ng Pilipinas upang bilhin ang boto ng mga Pilipino at naniniwala si Manny Piñol na hindi talaga ito tulong sa mahihirap kundi suhol at pawang pandilin lang nang sa ganon bumango ang pangalan ni Tambaluslos.
Campo Duterte. Why did it come to this? Bakit nangyari ito? Sapagkat merong isang tao na napakaaga gusto nang tuparin ang kanyang ambisyon na maging presidente ng Pilipinas. Ang unang ginawa nila, People's Initiative, they wanted to amend the Constitution so that we will shift from presidential to parliamentary and he can be appointed Prime Minister. So that they will be able to position their local candidates so that in 2028, that man who has been salivating to become the next president could fulfill his dream. And this man is no other than Martin Romualdez. To reintroduce myself because I am sure that many of you were not born yet when I became your governor in 1998. Ako po si Manny Piñol, anak ng Mlang. I graduated valedictorian from high school and elementary. I hold a doctorate degree in rural economic development. I was mayor of Mlang, governor of Cotabato, vice governor of Cotabato, secretary of agriculture, chairman of the Mindanao Development Authority, and the first and only Filipino to be elected chairperson of the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. My dear people, mga minamahal kong kababayan, I have to give you a national perspective of politics today so that you will understand, ma-translate natin sa ating lokal na politika. We are a nation in crisis. Ang utang natin is 16.3 trillion pesos. Ang popularity rating ng ating presidente is 14%, the lowest by any president in modern times. Divided ang ating bansa. Nag-aaway ang kampo Marcos at kampo Duterte. Why did it come to this? Bakit nangyari ito? Sapagkat merong isang tao na napakaaga gusto nang tuparin ang kanyang ambisyon na maging presidente ng Pilipinas. Ang unang ginawa nila, People's Initiative, they wanted to amend the Constitution so that we will shift from presidential to parliamentary and he can be appointed Prime Minister. Hindi nagtagumpay yun, 26 billion ang gastos. Gumawa sila ng bagong programa, ayuda. Etong mga perang binibigay sa inyo, hindi tutulong sa mahihirap. Ito ay pambili ng boto natin para yung kanilang kandidato sa lokal ngayong eleksyon ay mananalo in preparation for 2028. Hindi pa rin nakontento, they impeached Sara Duterte. Hindi pa rin nakontento, they exiled the former president to The Hague to be tried by a foreign court. My dear friends, all of this have bearing on our local politics. Sapagkat, ang totoo niyan, etong mga ayuda tinatanggap ninyo ngayon ay bahagi ng isang matinding plano para bilhin ang mga boto ng ating mga botante so that they will be able to position their local candidates so that in 2028, that man who has been salivating to become the next president could fulfill his dream. And this man is no other than Martin Romualdez. going to gamble the future of my children. I am not going to gamble the future of our province. Kaya nung magdesisyon ako na tumakbo bilang gobernador, gumawa ako ng programa to create an independent, virtual independent province of North Cotabato. Agriculture, productivity, food sufficiency, jobs for our people, health, at lubos sa lahat, scholarship for our children. My dear friends, we will focus on agriculture. There is no other way. Ang palay ngayon, 15. Ang bigas, 60. Hindi pwedeng magpatuloy yan. We have to do something about it. And we have to come up with a program to stop this. By doing improvements in agriculture, we have to go back to the basic. Hydrology study, soil analysis, and then we support our farmers by starting what I call corporate governance. Makikialam na ang provincial government sa pamamagitan ng provincial economic enterprise in buying the palay of your tatay and nanay sa magandang presyo at ibenta natin sa lokal na palengke sa magandang presyo. We will also support our corn farmers by buying their corn at a good price and, of course, selling feeds, supporting our livestock and our poultry programs. We have to go back to the basic issue of sending our children to school for free. We have to go back to the basic service of government to provide health, libreng ospital na ginawa na natin noong akong gobernador ninyo. Meron pa akong 6 seconds. Sorry, I was interrupted at 6 seconds. Nawala tuloy ako. So, babalikan natin yung mga programa. Anyway, we will have question and answer and I will be able to answer some of the questions later today. Thank you.
At ang tanong po natin ay, bilang tumatakbo sa posisyon na pagka-gobernador, sa pagkakataong ito, ano sa palagay ninyo ang inyong magagawa pa na hindi pa nagagawa ng nakaupo sa kasalukuyan?
My experience as former agriculture secretary actually widened my perspective in the field of agriculture. And I will use this to the hilt. Halimbawa, yung problema natin sa disconnect ng presyo ng palay, 15 ang kilo, sa presyo ng bigas, 60, kailangang makorek natin yon. And the only way to do that is for the provincial government to establish an economic enterprise that will participate in the procurement of the palay from the farmers at a good price of maybe 22 pesos per kilo. At ipagigiling natin yan, ibibenta sa bigasan ng mga barangay within our communities at 45 pesos per kilo. Kapag nagawa natin yan, hindi makakapasok ang imported na bigas sa North Cotabato and we will be creating a virtual rice republic that will offer our farmers good price for their produce and our consumers good price for their daily rice supply needs. Ang aking karanasan sa agrikultura has also enriched my perception. Kailangan balikan natin ang agrikultura because there is no other hope for this country. Sa gitna ng kaguluhan sa national level, nagkakagulo sila eh. Hindi natin alam, ma-impeach pa si Sara, makukonvict pa siya, makakabalik pa si President Duterte, mananalo ba si Martin Romualdez as President? All of these things could not be answered today. So, to prepare for that uncertain future, we have to build a province that can stand on its own. Kailangan meron tayong sariling supply, processing, and marketing cycle within which we will be able to sell our produce to our own people. Creating a virtual food republic. Wala tayong magagawa. Kailangan nating proteksyonan ang ating probinsya. Kailangan nating proteksyonan ang ating mga magsasaka para magtagumpay tayo.
My notes, while listening to the both of you, na sumagi po sa isip ko yung futures thinking concept. And I searched briefly, futures thinking is a creative and exploratory process that uses divergent thinking, seeking many possible answers, and acknowledging uncertainty. As a future governor, how do you foresee Cotabato Province 10 years from now?
With proper guidance, Dr. Baladhay, North Cotabato could be a major agricultural powerhouse. We have the rivers, but we have to protect our denuded upland areas. We have to reforest, we have to regreen, we have to identify our water sources. We also have to conduct a province-wide soil analysis to determine the quality of soil that we have and the fertilization needed to improve our agricultural productivity. This is all part of that futuristic plan of making North Cotabato a future agricultural powerhouse. Imagine this, kung mataniman natin ng mga kawayan at mga punong kahoy ang matataas na bahagi ng ating lalawigan, we will be able to protect our water sources. When we are able to protect our water sources, we will be able to ensure agriculture because there is no agriculture when there is no water. Food grows where water flows. That is very basic in agriculture. Sa lahat po ng plano natin, nakasalalay sa kung paano natin pangangalagaan ang pinanggagalingan ng ating mga tubig. And we can only do that if we come up with an integrated program to reforest the highlands of our province to ensure that our water sources are protected.
Any follow-up, sir? Wala na po. Okay.
I am satisfied.
All right, sir.
Thank you, Sir Manny.
This time, let us hear the answers coming from Ma'am Emilu Lalatalino Mendoza. From Dr. Arniel, sir, do you have the same questions?
Yes.
Okay.
I would like to reiterate, Ma'am Lala, as mentioned earlier, futures thinking is a creative and exploratory process that uses divergent thinking, seeking many possible answers and acknowledging uncertainty. As our governor, how do you foresee Cotabato Province 10 years from now?
Thank you. Alsim lang to be very busy municipality, an industrial municipality, because that's where we put the Mlang Central Airport and Agro-Industrial Park, where our produce will be processed. I also see the complementation of the modernized Makar Port, where we can channel all our resources in the region. That's the only way to be able to quantify our contribution to the economy of the country. Because as of now, all our produce, to include BARM, is being siphoned to the ports of Davao. That will tell you why we get a very meager support from the national government because of non-availability or improvement of Makar Port. The province of Cotabato is number 1 right now in rice production. Number 6 in the entire region. Number 6 in the entire Mindanao, and number 10 in the entire country. We are already sufficient. But if we work closely with the Department of Agriculture, we can get more support. Road network, fertilization, qualified seeds, and many more. And so province of Cotabato will be very prosperous with airport, with seaport in Jansan, and with agro-industrial park.
Thank you, Ma'am Emilu Lalatalino Mendoza. This time, let us hear another question coming from our second panelist, Ma'am Carol Salanatin Tolentino. Let's have first our first aspirant, Sir Manny Piñol, to answer.
Okay. Maayong hapon, Sir Manny and Gov Lala. Here's my question. Ang mga kabataan ang siyang pag-asa ng ating bayan. However, our youth are faced with these problems at present. Number 1, slow internet and poor connectivity in public schools. So in this premise, in the students in rural schools have access to a reliable internet and modern learning tools. And second, there are rising cases of HIV and STDs, especially among the youth. So, with the increasing reports of HIV and STDs in the province, what programs will you implement to promote awareness, testing, and treatment at the provincial level?
Before I answer the question on internet connectivity, let me just give you a bigger problem with the youth today. Ang problema natin ngayon, maraming kabataan ang hindi nakakatapos ng kolehiyo dahil sa kahirapan ng ating mga pamilya. Our poverty incidence in the province of North Cotabato is 29%. Ibig sabihin, 29 families out of every 100 live below the poverty threshold of 14,000 pesos a month. Ang ating child malnutrition rate is 33%. Ang ating youth unemployment is staggering. Face off, naiisip ko, mga nasa 80% na mga bagong graduate na mga bata ang walang trabaho. Why is this happening? Because we have not created job opportunities in the province of North Cotabato. Hindi magsilbi ka puro scholarship lang and let them lose afterwards. We have to provide jobs for them. We have to develop our agriculture, rise up to the level of agro-industrialization so that in the process, we will add value to our agricultural products and create jobs at the same time. The problem of interconnectivity sa internet is a very simple problem. We can always allocate funds to provide Wi-Fi facilities in every school if that is the desire of our people. Kung kinakailangan maglagay ng Wi-Fi sa bawat eskwelahan, napakamura na ng Wi-Fi ngayon. Napakamura na, pwedeng Starlink.
Okay, time's up na po, Sir Manny Piñol. Maraming salamat po sa pagsagot sa ating katanungan mula sa ating pangalawang panelist. This time, ating pakinggan ang magiging sagot ni Ma'am Emily Talino Mendoza.
Thank you. I work with the DepEd. Kulang gihapon ang mga school facilities. Kulang ang mga bangko because we have consultation along the way. DepEd prioritized the construction of classroom, the putting up of water tanks for potable water for our children, and the complementation of armchairs in the newly erected classroom. Wi-Fi, we can partner with our LGUs while the province construct the classrooms, provide the armchairs, municipalities and barangays. Perhaps, sabi nga ni Governor Manny, mura na yun ngayon, 30,000, 60,000. There should be collaboration. Hindi pwedeng probinsya lang lahat. No? And the issue of HIV/AIDS, totoo yan. Masyadong mataas ang insidente nga ron ng HIV. Meron tayong mga teen centers. Kaya every time na meron kaming programa, I have this challenge to our young people. Please do not experiment with love. With love, while you're students, pwede kang magka-HIV, pwede kang mabuntis, hindi ka makapagtapos. Do not experiment with drugs. In drugs, hindi ka makapagtapos at pwede yung needle na gamit mo ay may HIV din. And so we need to protect our youth because they are our future. Thank you.
Maraming salamat, Ma'am Emilu Talino Mendoza. This time, let us hear the question from our third panelist, Ma'am Enedina Cacabelos. Let's have Sir Manny Piñol to answer her question.
Good afternoon. According to the latest survey and data, North Cotabato is one of the 10 poorest provinces of the Philippines. May we know the reasons and factors related to this? If ever elected or re-elected, what are your strategies and initiatives to stimulate economic growth and job creation in the area to reverse this status?
I am saddened by that report. This is the first time I've heard of that. So we are now one of the 10 poorest provinces in the country. There is only one explanation. Our producers, since we are an agricultural province, yung mga farmers natin are not getting the correct value of their produce. Kung ang bigas ay 60, dapat 30 ang palay. Pero anong nangyari ngayon? 15 ang palay, 60 ang bigas. So palaging lugi yung ating mga farmers. And the only solution to that is for the provincial government to establish an economic enterprise office, operate as a corporation as authorized by Section 22 of RA 7160, operate a corporation na siyang bibili ng palay ng ating mga magsasaka, gigiling, so that in the process, itong bigas na to will be sold in the barangays at a lower price while our farmers will be getting 22 pesos for their kilo of palay. Now, in the agro-industrialization aspect, kailangan nating i-complete value chain. Dili pwedeng hangtod sa hangtod, tiglukit na lang o kopras ang atong mga mag-uuma. Kinahanglan, i-process nato ang kopras so that mahimo mantika, and in the process, we create jobs. When we establish our cattle projects, for example, dairy projects, we will be creating jobs for our agriculture graduates from USM. That's the only way to solve poverty. Provide jobs and income opportunities.